Welcome inside this week's edition of Women's Basketball Weekly. This is the fourth installment of the show. I'm Carrick Segmuller, joined by women's basketball head coach JD Gustin inside the CEC TV studios this week as we break down last week's game up in Oregon, taking on Western Oregon on Saturday, and then St. Martin's on Sunday. Coach, as always, thanks for being part of the show. It's exciting to be able to have you on each week, and looking forward to chatting with senior Ashlee Burge as well a little bit later in the show today. Coach, let's dive right into it. Your team headed up to Monmouth, Oregon for the first weekend of the season. To fall to Western Oregon, but you get the split. The next day you get the win over St. Martin's on Sunday. You're 1-1 at this point, and I imagine that a split at this point is pretty well for your team. Yeah, for sure. Anytime you win, it's a positive, Carrick. Yeah, it's nice to have a starting point, my friend. That's what it's. That's basically what it is for us right now with such a new team and new style, new philosophy, new concepts. We saw a lot of good things and a lot of bad things. Currently, we like the tempo that we're playing at. We like. I think we're averaging maybe 75 or so, 75 on the road. We left 23 free throws on the line. So we essentially could possibly be averaging the 80s. Again, on the road, our first time together. So there's good things there. And then on the flip side, we're not very good defensively right now. Yeah, we're giving up layups at an alarming rate, fouling a lot. So, but like I said, it's good to start and get going. Absolutely, Coach. Let's just talk about each game specifically, real briefly. Let's talk about the Western Oregon game first, the Saturday game. You have a lot of freshmen on this squad. It was their first time stepping onto the floor for a collegiate regular season game. And you were right there for most of the game. Western Oregon kind of stretched it later in the second half. But from what I saw, there were still a lot of good things in that Western Oregon game, despite the 81-70 setback in the final result.
Well, we got down 23-10 early, Carrick, and we could have rolled over, and it could have been a long day. And for us to bounce back and tie it, and then eventually go in to halftime being up one was a pretty good situation for us. The big thing with Western Oregon is for us was they're opening up at home. They're senior laden. They're veteran. Their coach has been there for a while. They know what they're trying to do offensively and defensively. We're basically opposite of that, and to compete like that was definitely a good thing. Like I said, fouled them too much, and then the other thing is we don't have a rotation right now. Like, I don't know who I'm subbing, or I didn't at that point. We're getting closer now, but so yeah. Kids battled, competed, and had fun, and got better. So it was an overall, no question, good experience for us.
Move into the next day, and you were able to kind of flip the script that Western Oregon did to you the first day, and you're up by 20 against St. Martin's at halftime, and they came out with vengeance in the second half and trimmed the lead down to just a couple of points, but your team was still able to hold on and get the 81-74 victory. And that one kind of a learning experience to show your team that hey, we can build these leads. We've got to learn how to play with the lead and not just from behind.
That's right, and that takes time. That just doesn't happen. And I kind of anticipated that going into the third quarter. I was a little bit disappointed in I thought we would still match their intensity, which we didn't. I knew that I had an idea that they might make a run in that third quarter, but they really came after us when we weren't ready. But St. Martin's, I was really impressed with. They have a new coach, and she really does a good job. She works hard. Their kids played hard. They ran really good stuff. And so for us to be able to hold them off, I was super proud of them for it.
This week you get to play in the complete confines of the Burns Arena now and bring in kind of a three-team round robin deal, if you will, with yourself and Colorado Mesa and Montana State Northern, and it all starts on Friday with a tough Colorado Mesa team, a team that's just good year in and year out.
Yeah. Taylor does a great job. Their point guard has been Player of the Year in that conference before. We have our hands full with her, and we'll have a good plan put together. We'll have some ideas on how to stop them, slow them down, all that sort of thing. But it's going to be more about us, what we're trying to do. We're going to definitely try to stop fouling. We're going to try and really beat them up on the boards, and then create that tempo that we want to play at. We want to score a little bit. even if it gives up giving a couple of easy baskets at one point, but we want to get up and down, and I think it's a fun style to watch, to play, and to coach.
We're going to take a short break on Women's Basketball Weekly. When we come back, senior Ashlee Burge will join us in the first of our player profile segments of the show as well. So stick with us. We'll be right back with senior Ashlee Burge. Welcome back inside Dixie State Women's Basketball Weekly, the fourth installment of the show. This week, we jump into our feature interview segment of the show, and we start today with senior center Ashlee Burge. Ashlee, thanks for joining us on the show today.
Thank you.
Been a fun year so far, getting to know the coaches. Now we get to have each of you players on week by week and get to know you a little bit better. So let's just dive right into it. And I like to kind of rewind the clock to start, if you will. I did the same with the coaches and any student athletes that have interviewed so far. And let's just look back a little bit. You're senior. You've been here for about 4 years now. And what was it that jumped out about Dixie State, the school, the area, that made you want to be a trailblazer?
Well, initially, I just really wanted to play basketball in college, and I signed really late. Halfway through the summer. Just mostly the area. I love that it's close to home, but not too close. And the environment is really fun, and it's a smaller college, but I've really enjoyed my time here. So.
Of course, came here from Harriman High School, varsity captain, 2013, 2014, and have been making waves here ever since. One of just a couple four-year seniors on the team this year. Obviously, it's a program that's been through a little bit of change over those 4 years, but you've been one of the few constants through the program through those years. What's it like being one of just a few seniors on the team, helping lead a program full of young freshmen?
It's kind of fun, actually. We've started over new every year, and just being able to, kind of look back and realize how it was when I was a freshman, and wanting them to have, maybe a better experience than I did. So looking back, just knowing that I want them to have fun, I want them to enjoy their time here, and just be a good role model, someone that they can look up to, and someone that they can come to if they ever need help with anything. So.
You mentioned wanting to play basketball in college, coming out of high school, as I'm sure every student athlete does coming out. What's been maybe the biggest difference over these 4 years to say, well, this is what makes college athletics a lot different than maybe it was in high school?
Just the level of play. I think it takes a lot more commitment, and a lot of people that you're playing with are the best. And in high school, you're playing with people who just wanted to try out, and that's great. But when you get to college, everybody's the best, and I think it raises everybody's level of play and definitely commitment to the sport, which makes it a lot more fun because people are willing to work a lot harder.
Looking back over these last 3, now 4 years, this year, it's probably a lot of moments. Probably difficult to pinpoint maybe just one favorite moment or a favorite game. But if you had to kind of think on a game or two, what would that be?
I have two in mind. There's one my sophomore season at Point Loma. That was a really, really fun game. We were kind of having a rough season, and that was a game that I really remember in my mind, that everybody just kind of came together, and we won, and it was really huge. It was a fun game for everybody. We left, feeling happy about that trip. The other one was Fresno Pacific last year. That was the first game also last season that we won, and that was a really fun game for me. Getting my career high in both points and rebounds, so that was really fun.
Talked about your favorite moment on the court. Let's talk about just being part of a team. Obviously, it's a program that's seen a lot of change, a lot of turnover in players, but there have been a few. Gabby Cabanero's been there. The whole time that you've been here. Tremina Jordan's been here for a while. What's been your favorite part about just being part of this team over the last 4 years?
I think just making like the friends that we've made. You said there's a lot of turnover, and even though that we've had changes in coaches and in players, I've met people that I'm going to be friends with forever, and I think that even though they're not here, like I still talk to them every week, and that is the biggest part to me, just knowing that like I've made lasting friendships, especially with like me and Gabby, me and Tremina. The three of us have been through a ton together, and I think that builds a lot of trust, and it's fun to know that I have those people that I can count on.
Of course, 2 games in, 3 if you want to count the exhibition this year. That doesn't go down in the win and loss, but you split up in Oregon, against a pretty tough Western Oregon team, and you get the win over St. Martin's. How happy was the team to go up there and at least get the split and say we're 1-1? Let's move forward with that. Really, the first non-conference win since the program has had since 2014.
Yeah, it's huge. We went up there, and it was our first 2 games together really as a team, and to go up there and score 70 in an away gym is huge in any program, whether you win or lose. And so that was really fun. I think people take winning for granted. Winning is not easy at all, and I think we're starting to learn that. Like you said, we haven't won a game like that in a while, and I think it's huge. You have to take advantage of those moments. So,
of course, at home this weekend, I'm sure after a long trip. Not all season opening trips are that long. For those of you that don't know, the women's basketball team left on what was it, Friday?
Friday.
Left
yeah.
on Friday, didn't get back till last night late which was Tuesday, after playing Utah State in an exhibition in Logan. But now you get to come home. Play Colorado Mesa on Friday, a tough Colorado Mesa squad that
Yes.
you've played a couple of times in your career here at Dixie State, actually. And then you bring in Montana State Northern, team that Coach Yazzie has some ties to, help coach up there. But an opportunity to come home and play in your home gym, I'm sure feels good after a long trip opening weekend.
Yeah, we're excited. It'll be a big game on Friday for sure.
Ashlee, thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know I travel with you student athletes, so I get to see kind of the side of trying to study and balance life and school and athletics, and we appreciate you taking time out of your schedule. And we'll get you back off the class that you got to get to here pretty soon too. But we appreciate you stopping by, get to know you a little bit better. We look forward to getting to know your teammates as well. So we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Of course, like I mentioned, the women's basketball team will host Colorado Mesa on Friday. That game will tip at 5 p.m. And then a couple of days later on Sunday, November 19th, we'll host Montana State Northern in an afternoon game at 3 p.m. Both of those games inside the Burns Arena. This has been Women's Basketball Weekly, Episode 4. Appreciate you watching. Be sure to tune in next week.